Take a look at what happened.
As our nation seemingly teeters on the edge, the recent assassination attempt it's a stark reminder of the potential for civil unrest, urging us to prepare for the very real possibility of a more fractured society. And there's really no denying that we literally just came an inch from that happening just this past Saturday. So where's this all going, and how can you even prepare for these once-in-a-lifetime events that are seemingly becoming more common? If you're new to this channel, my name is Chris, and on this channel we discuss emergency preparedness, aka prepping. For anyone who follows this channel knows that I don't get into politics on this channel. This channel is solely focused on teaching the how of preparedness, but still every now and then, events like what we just witnessed really threaten to become so great that it could cleave our country apart and result in civil discord to such an extent that you need to shelter in place for maybe a few weeks. And while I have no desire to engage in political discourse on this channel, we have to acknowledge that politics can and they do impact our lives in very tangible ways. And what nearly happened this past weekend really reminds us that we were just inches, maybe an inch, away from something that could have radically changed our nation. In recent years, politics and the resulting disruptions to our everyday lives have become as real disasters as violent storms. And like natural disasters, civil unrest can spin out of control. It can lead to the destruction of our infrastructure systems and possibly even turn neighbor upon neighbor. And is anyone really surprised by the political violence that we're warned about? And despite knowing very little about the shooter in this incident, people are quick to pass judgment and assign blame. The prevalence of misinformation, it really makes it easy to jump to unfounded conclusions, often compelling people to act upon them. In troll farms, they exploit such events to further spin division, deceiving your neighbors, friends, and perhaps even you. Now, American politics is paradoxically stable and unstable. It's marked by deep partisan divisions that threaten democratic coexistence. And experts warn of rising political violence as hatred and fear grow, potentially leading to a cycle of violence. And presidential elections are especially volatile, with heightened emotions and perceived stakes. And while the shooter's motives at this time remain unclear, the risk of violence during elections is evident. Our internal divisions are at the worst as we've probably seen in generations, and it's really pushing the country into a precarious situation with uncertain outcomes. Look, we could get into finger pointing here, and I've seen a lot of it on YouTube and other social media outlets in the last several days. And there's enough blame to go around when it comes to stoking division instead of remembering the core values that unite us. America's mental health, it's further deteriorated amidst the overwhelming cacophony of information, misinformation, sound bites, and angry comments, some from very real people and some from adversaries worldwide who thrive on our division. And there's overwhelming evidence that foreign adversaries are actively running campaigns to comment on social media posts, posing as your fellow citizens with the intent only to inflame users and stoke anger out of people. Now, these deepfakes, the spamouflage, bot farms, troll farms, all of these are being aimed at you with success that the truth is often overwhelmed. And we're all too accepting of the ideal that everyone is lying to us. And that really just serves to deepen the divisions even further. I'm personally at a point where I have difficulty engaging with others in the comments section of videos and forums and other online places where people can post without identifying themselves. I'm even finding that just simple discussions online can escalate quickly to find ways to elicit your emotional response. And this is not a secret in the intelligence or cyber communities, and you should be aware of that. That comment or post that you see raising your blood pressure, you really have to understand that it may be its purpose, and it may have been posted in Russia, Ukraine, Moldova, Africa, or China by a bot, or someone who doesn't even speak English. It's cyber war being waged in a way that, in my opinion, it doesn't get enough press coverage because people need to know that they are often being duped into believing that Americans want to destroy America with their actions and policies. And while that's probably always true to some extent in any country, it's a handful of people and not whole political parties. And it's probably not that mom protesting a school board's actions. It's probably not that school board member doing what they believe is right. The person wearing a particular colored hat probably is not trying to destroy America, nor is that young person with dreadlocks and a skateboard. But is understanding that there really aren't that many people trying to destroy the country enough to stop the destruction of our country. In times like these, I remind myself that I don't need to understand the motives or all the details of what has transpired. The big picture tells me that usually nobody knows the whole truth, and we still don't know who sank the USS Maine, which sparked the Spanish-American War, resulting in nearly 16,000 deaths. And those who quickly summarize, label, and blame will probably never know the truth. And this event might even spark more significant or copycat events, increasing the chances of civil unrest. And it's really time to add civil unrest to your list of probable disasters to prepare for. Civil unrest, it can lead to long-term interruptions, municipal services and infrastructure, regular food and fuel delivery, spontaneous crime, and more. And defending one's business when there's sparse police protection is a real possibility. And these minor altercations, they can explode into massive conflicts that halt typical infrastructure. And you must consider the very real possibility that you might need to prepare for this election season as if a 3-week lockdown is possible. I know many people are stoking division online, posing as people in your community, and don't be duped into believing information that blames one side or the other without facts. Instead, be cautious of information from unknown social media accounts, as manipulation efforts, especially from foreign actors, often mixed with half-truths with distorted facts to spread division. Let me pause and say this for a second. I have friends online, even on social media platforms, like, yes, every now and then I'll check into Facebook, just curious to see what friends are doing. It's mostly what I use it for. I have watched with amazement lately people my age not understanding that they're posting certain things that they don't even know where they got it from. They saw it on a website or somewhere and they posted it. And there's always half-truths to what they post. It's enough to get people angry, and it's enough to get them fired up. And when people repost this over and over, that's all it's for. It's just to try to elicit an emotional response. And I've asked a friend of mine that's been doing this a lot lately, I'm like, do you know where you got that from and who created that and what the intent is behind it? And he got really upset because it aligned with his particular values, but he had no idea where that information came from. He just found somewhere he posted it because he thought it'd be fun to make some people mad. And that's where we have to be better. We have to think when we see stuff like that, is this manipulating me? Is this trying to pull out an emotion? I tell you 9 out of 10 times when I see that, it's a giveaway. That it's usually either some foreign actor or somebody that has some ulterior motive to come in and try to fire something up inside of me. And those people, I've had to just stop following. I've had to unfollow certain people that I used to love. I mean, we're still friends, but the thing is I know they don't understand what they're posting half the time. And they're only furthering this very thing that we're trying to talk about here. And you really have to understand that manipulative networks, they rely on volume to create the illusion of broad support, making it easy for people to believe popular posts, even if the crowd is almost entirely fake accounts. You have to really resist groupthink and remember that fake accounts might influence popular posts. In the aftermath of such events, misinformation and false information, they abound, prompting malicious conspiracy theories. Someone out there probably believes and spreads these falsehoods, and someone unstable enough might act upon them. Any piece of false information in the wrong hands can change history and create chaos in our civil order. Any single incident, successful or not, can lead to more division. Bots and troll farms, they pretend to be your angry neighbors, stoking division. Protests can quickly shut down roads critical for food and fuel delivery. Armed groups can seize government buildings, forcing martial law or lockdowns, or sparking armed conflicts. Off-target bullets can find innocent targets, creating more chaos. And look, I know that's a lot to throw at you considering what's happening right now. And I know people are all over the spectrum on what they choose to believe, accept, or ignore from all of that. And I also believe it's a discussion you must have with yourself and those you love. Are you likely to be swept up into the chaos that could occur, or are you intentionally letting the chaos you see, regardless of your source, inform your prepping decisions? We live in an unprecedented time where misinformation spreads faster than fact, and people will react to information whether it's true or not. And that means the chances of disrupting your food, your water, or other infrastructure could happen for a few days, weeks, months, or potentially forever. And that's a reality if any of one of these types of events spins out of control. Imagine if the lone gunman's bullet had found its mark and the former president hadn't turned his head at that particular millisecond to look at the chart. What others have acted upon misinformation, blamed the opposition, and violently reacted. These things, they can spin out of control rather rapidly. And we are seeing these things more frequently because they are so interconnected with live streams, internet posts, news, and messaging. Consider the ripple effect of such events. An attack on people or critical infrastructure like the power grid or water supply could lead to widespread chaos and prolonged outages. It could quickly result in a state of martial law, lockdowns, or riots. Supply chains might be disrupted, causing shortages of essential goods and services. And look, this is not merely hypothetical, this timeline that we're living in, these events that are playing out. History has shown that political violence and social unrest can quickly lead to broader societal breakdowns. The psychological impact on communities, it can be profound. It can drive people to act irrationally out of fear and desperation. And it's crucial to recognize these risks and prepare accordingly, ensuring that you do have the necessary supplies and plans in place to weather such storms. And it doesn't have to be sparked domestically either. Whether it's Russia bombing a nuclear power plant in Ukraine, China assaulting vessels in the South China Sea, the Houthis attacking a U.S. or British naval vessel, or a lone gunman assassinating a political leader, these events are becoming increasingly probable. We no longer need to fictionalize chaos for Hollywood movies. We're now seeing these scenarios as distinct possibilities. And any one of these could result in civil unrest in your country as people act out upon their general distrust and lack of confidence in the government. And no one can predict with certainty how bad things might get in the political arena, especially in these next few months. The impacts of a Trump or Biden administration remain theoretical. But however, it's evident that conditions are likely to worsen dramatically before they improve. And we're constantly being exposed to cortisol spiking events, leading many of us to become addicted to the stress. Some seek it out, perpetuate it, get swept away in it, and may be acting out upon it. And knowing this, it seems like the best reason to prepare, doesn't it? For me, I hope for you as well. Prepping brings calm amidst the chaos. It insulates me from misinformation and really focuses on solutions for the problems arising out of the chaos. My encouragement to you is to prepare now for potential service interruptions due to civil unrest. This is becoming more of a possibility, and we've moved out of, hey, this is a theoretical possibility, to now becoming increasingly probable. And regardless of where you live, you have to accept your power might go out and your food supply could be disrupted. And while it's important to prepare for the initial 3 days of any disruption, you need to ensure that you have at least 3 weeks of supplies on hand before Election Day. And this approach, it's going to grant you peace of mind now and ensure that you're prepared if things escalate. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'll never do that on this channel. I'm going to give you tools and information, and you do with it as you see fit. I'm not going to tell you how to react to partial information, which news sources to trust, or how to vote. I've tried to give news segments every couple of weeks on the channel, and I try so hard to be unbiased. It's not easy. We all have biases. I acknowledge my own biases. But I try to keep the politics out. I just try to present the information so that you're informed so you can make the best decision on how you will prepare. And these are all personal decisions, but you have to choose now how you will react or act from this point. Acknowledging that significant events are happening more frequently and intensely, it's crucial. We are only ever an inch and a millisecond away from a future that is forever changed. It's only a matter of time before one of these events pushes us dangerously close to self-destruction as a country. And at the very least, any one of these incidents could lead to your community or a world without the rule of law and the securities that we all take for granted. Whether that period lasts a few hours or forever, we don't know, but we must prepare for it now and not later. Look, I want to encourage you to see this event and similar events as an opportunity for you to prepare. Let it inform your preparations. Let it be a wake-up call. If you're new to this, let it be a wake-up call that the calm order of the world that we take for granted every day, it could be upended just in seconds, rather quickly, and for longer than any of us would like. Knowing that, I would encourage you to get your food, your water, your medicine, your energy, your security, and all the other pillars of prepping that I outline in these videos in place now. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again all the time on this channel. The best time to prepare was what? Yesterday, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. But the next best time to prepare is now. And I'll add to that by saying, you've got to put your prepping plan in motion while you still have time. And look, you know I'm not given to hyperbole on this channel, but things will get more challenging as we progress on this timeline. As always, stay safe out there.